I don't know, drama from the beginning. But anyways, this is what happens in life. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Drama to Dharma. I hope that you enjoyed our new opening video. That is our introduction. Then I don't have to try to figure out how do I start the show. Debbie, thank you so much for putting that together for me from Spirituality Gone Wild. And I also want to thank our sponsor, ATS, Addiction Therapeutic Services. That's the treatment center that Jim and I own in Rancho Mirage, California. And we do behavioral health and substance abuse. So I just want to welcome everybody. And am I a little dressed up today? Yes, I am, because our topic is holidays. So I decided to wear one of my holiday tops that I have here in our family holiday home. And I am wearing my gym shorts with it. So I have gym shorts, slippers, and a beautiful holiday top. So this is to help inspire everybody to start getting in the groove of holidays. Gabriel wanted that to be our topic tonight, holidays. I put in there, I kind of changed it up a little bit, holidays/holy days 2020 with compassion and love, because the holidays are the holy days. They are holy days from the heavens, from all different walks of life, all different religions, different dates, different names. But the holiday season are in, primarily December, January, all started 2 weeks ago in different religions. In the Jewish religions, the high holidays started. So this is the holy day holiday season. And most of us are home now, or primarily at home, still hunkering down because of the pandemic and all the spikes of the pandemic. So he wanted to talk about how can we go through this holiday season and keep it holy day season with compassion and love, because people are nervous. I know that I'm a little nervous. Halloween, for those of you who celebrate that as a holiday, or growing up very Christian, I was mine would be harvest days. We would have harvest festivals. So this is the time of harvest, the time of fall celebrations. And that does also include Halloween for fun and trick or treats and things like that with kids traditionally here in the United States. And this year there's no trick or treaters. I know here at this house that I'm in, that I've had 20 years. It's our family home. We've always decorated. I love decorating for holidays. That is just my thing. It just makes me feel good. So we decorate all, Halloween, and we give out tons of candy every year to the beautiful, cute babies, all the little angels and, princess and all of the, all those beautiful trick-or-treater kids that come through. And I'd make, cupcakes for the kids. I mean, all those things. Well, this year we're not doing any of that. And I have my grandsons, and I'm not going to see two of my grandsons because of the pandemic. But Nolan, my 5-year-old grandson, he will be seeing. So I thought, what am I going to do with Nolan? We can't go trick-or-treating. So in our area in Palm Desert, and we have a condo out there, there is the Living Desert. It's a zoo. It's outdoors. We're going to scavenger hunt. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to have our scavenger hunt, and we're going to go out there. That was my son Samuel calling. I need to remember to send him the link for the show so he remembers. Anyways, so that always makes me think about him when he thinks about me at the same time. So that's a cool thing when that happens too. But I basically just hung up on him. I'll call him back later. Anyways, probably because we're talking about holidays and he loves them. So we're going to do a scavenger hunt at the zoo. And I'm going to take my grandson there with my daughter, and we're just going to go outdoors. It's all COVID safe. There's no candy involved. They're going to give you little gift packets with, fall stuff, and we're going to get to see the animals and do scavenger hunt at the zoo. That's going to be a lot of fun. So if you have children and you're not sure what to do with your kids, you don't have to, the kids are, might be bummed out because there's no trick-or-treating or no big fall festivals this year. So, there might be something in your community like a scavenger hunt, or where you just want to do something at your house and make cupcakes and candied apples and a fun fall meal on Saturday. So I just encourage everybody on Saturday to think about either fall festive at your home. Gabriel's saying to bring in the harvest, which it's time to harvest now everything that we basically have sowed this year, which is a lot. We've towed a lot this year, and he's wanting to encourage us to still embrace these seasons of time. And so for this month, for this coming up, is going to be the harvest time. So that's the time that we can celebrate all of the that we've worked for. We've worked, all this year, whatever we've sown, whatever we've done extra, whatever our exhaustion is from this pandemic fatigue. We can just go ahead and, he's saying to go ahead and embrace the harvest, embrace the abundance, to use, words like prosperity in food, prosperity in love, prosperity in compassion. Prosperity doesn't necessarily mean money. Prosperity can mean anything that's in abundance. So if you can abundantly share your compassion and your love during this time, starting out, because usually this weekend for most people, Halloween, harvest festivals, that kind of kicks off an entire vibration until after the new year. And summer's over, and now people are starting to think about fun stuff to do. And not everybody, because of course there are some that don't believe in the holidays, but they do believe in the seasons. So he's saying, for those of you who believe in the seasons and embrace seasons, then that, embrace the seasons with compassion and love also. So it's not just the holidays, the holy days, or for those who prefer to embrace the seasons, but somehow give this new season that we're about to enter, thinking about it coming from a place of compassion for each other, because we've all had a difficult year. It's been a difficult year for, he can honestly say, everybody in one way or the other, because it's so different. And as humans, we're not used to the change. Although there have been many blessings through the year as well, just in different ways. We've talked about that. But, we have had extra stressors for sure. So he just wants us to be compassionate and loving to each other, knowing that perhaps we're not going to be the same as we were a year ago. We're not going to be that, because before this year of 2020 and everything that's happened, we kind of would go, and I know this for myself, everything was very routine when it came to holidays and holy days. It's almost like, okay, Halloween's coming, decorations up, do trick or treat, all that, put that away, get ready for a big, Thanksgiving, take that down. Oh my gosh, if it's at the end of the month, how are we going to get ready for, stress. But this year, it's not all of that. It's different. So he's saying to embrace the season and embrace it with compassion and love for each other, because we have all been going through this changes together of the pandemic, and to embrace, like I said, for this weekend, either fall harvest celebrations, or fall, or Halloween, if that's your preference. Like for me with Nolan, taking him to a scavenger hunt, something different. Normally we would do the same routine, go to the same neighborhoods and the same houses, and get the same candy, and then come back and check all the candy and have wired up kids for about a week, and the dentist hate it. So this year there's really very little candy and there's creativity, so that's special. You could be creative, maybe, be a little more healthy with the kids, maybe bake some desserts that's still less sugar. If you bake a cupcake or some cookies and just do it the one time rather than to have like pounds of candy around the house forever. So those are some of the ideas he has for kicking off this season, which would actually be in 2 days. And then, of course, between now and the other holidays, we're going to discuss, each one in depth, he says. But this kind of is the time that I think all of us are feeling like, okay, it's around the corner. The holidays are here already. What does that mean? We haven't left the house. Am I going to go Christmas shopping? What am I doing? Because I was thinking, yay, I don't have to go Christmas shopping. Or wow, are we doing Christmas? We didn't do Easter. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I don't want to not do Christmas. That's my favorite holiday. So I decided that right after Halloween, so next week, I'm going to slowly but surely start decorating everything for Christmas. And so Thanksgiving, we're going to have turkeys and Christmas cookies. No, I'm kidding. But we're going to do something. We're going to have turkey. It's going to still be Thanksgiving, of course, but I'm going to have the house decorated for Christmas a little bit longer this year because I just feel like I miss some of my favorite holidays this year, and I'm just going to kind of combine it. I still have some Easter decorations around the house. I haven't taken those down yet because we didn't really do Easter. So I don't know if I'm going to leave Christmas up, all year. I doubt it. I love leaving part of Christmas up all year. But, you might want to do that because this might be the time when instead of going into, the Rite Aid and going, you're kidding me, Christmas decorations already? You might buy a Christmas decoration and say, you know what, I might just buy a new little decoration and start putting things up around the house because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. These memories from when I was a child, if that's something you like to do. And if it's not something you're not really into decorating, you're not into holidays, then just be, into that holy vibration and be giving, the time of giving and sharing. Again, we've talked about that in the past. Gabriel always encourages us to pay things forward, to give, if you see somebody that's looking for food or, you can give them a voucher for a Denny's or something like that. If they're hungry, randomly, give somebody a gift, or if you see something, somebody struggling with something, go ahead and just do it. And those are random acts of kindness. Those are all vibrationally, things that we can do also for the holidays and the holy days. So he wants us to remember that this season is very sacred. It's a very sacred season, especially after a year like this. It's even more, he says, because right now we are, lack of another word, we're raw. We're kind of raw. So we are open. We are open and we are praying, and we are praying for help, and we're praying for health, and we're praying for each other, I hope. Hopefully if you're watching the show now, you're embracing that we're praying for each other. We're praying, for compassion and love. So he's saying during this season definitely is the time. And of course, as an archangel, he always says that this is his season. He says that, that Gabriel, this is Gabriel's season. His claim to fame was, Christmas and being the Christmas angel and talking, to Mary about Jesus coming, and he's helped write other holy books throughout time because he's the closest angel to the earth communication wise. And so this is really his season as well, he says, because he's, a lot of the history that's gone on through here, he's been part of that for the holy days. So, and this is the time that people put up angels the most, Christmas angels. So they love it. The angels love Christmas because that's the time that there's angels and bells and, A Wonderful Life and all these different movies that talk about angels. And whenever we talk about angels or we think about angels, they're always right there. Even if it's by default because you're watching a movie with an angel in it, or you're referring to Gabriel as the Christmas angel, he's right there. They're just like waiting to be called and to be asked. So, put your angels out, your holy Christmas angels or whatever, and I leave my angels out. I'm sure that's no surprise. it's hard for me to pack up my Christmas angels because I kind of get this vibe from them, this look on their face, like, really, you're putting me in a box? And I'm like, okay, all right. And my kids are always like, Mom, you have to put some of these angels away. I'm like, I know, but you tell them that. You put that angel in a box. My grandson, we have all these little hand wash things that I bought last year that had the Christmas angel Gabriel basically on them for our bathroom and our kitchen. And I was going to put them away. And then when it emptied out, I even threw one out because I had like 4 of them. And he said, Honey, you can't throw the angels away. And I thought, oh my goodness. So I've been refilling it, of course, all year. So, those are just things to think about. These are little things that are kind of funny, but the angels love it. And right now is a great time to, even if you're going to be giving gifts to people, little gifts, you can find them random little things like, this is a perfect time to give hand sanitizers or hand wash. They have all these wonderful things now everywhere, but in particular at Ross and TJ Maxx, and they're very inexpensive. And these, you can put them in a little bag or something and hand them to people, and they will appreciate that more than anything right now. I think I appreciate getting, a fun mask or something like that. So, or buying, the fashion masks. This is the only time that you get to see me without a mask is when I'm on, my show. And for those of you who are just tapping in, I'm wearing my holiday blouse to celebrate, but I do have my gym shorts on, and I do have my, my outdoor slides. They call them, they're like pool slides. But I just wanted to start, getting kind of in the flow of the holidays. So I put a holiday blouse on, and I encourage everybody to do that, to put a holiday blouse on, just feel good. Of course, if you're going to be outside, you're not going to wear your gym shorts with your holiday blouse, or you can. I mean, it's COVID. Nobody cares. It's like nobody really, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. You're wearing a mask and nobody knows who you are anyways. So you're going to do whatever feels good for you during this holiday season, during these holy day seasons. So that's what the message we want. And during the show, I also encourage people to please ask me questions for Gabriel, and he will answer them, and I will answer them for him the best I can, which are usually spot on, or they're always spot on, he says, not usually because they are from him. So it's always going to be the answer that's divine. And I pray before the show so that the answers will come through clearly. So if you have any questions right now during this time, for those who have lost loved ones this year and lost loved ones anytime, but particularly around the holidays, it's difficult because there is no time. So, I just want to give you my love and my compassion, because I know from losing dear loved ones when I was a child, my father and my brother. When I was young, I lost them both, and around in the same time. And so there were years that I don't remember the holidays, actually. There were several, maybe 4 or 5 years where I don't particularly remember the holidays. But I do remember that we tried to have holidays, kind of, but it wasn't the same. So whatever you can do to get outside of that, if you're grieving, is to, just know that you're okay where you are, and that you can just love them and love each other, and that I have love and compassion for you. And maybe you can do something for the community if you feel up to it. But, just take care of yourself. What you can do, he's saying, is take care of yourself so that your health does not fail during this time, and to do something for them and their memory and their legacy. That's what he always says, to do something for their legacy, because they were here. They still are, but they were here on this planet. They have DNA here, and they were a living, breathing, beautiful human being, as you know. But you can also share that with others by maybe doing some sort of a dedication or something that will bring hope to others, depending on how they passed away. Maybe do some advocacy work on their behalf, something, whatever feels good for you that can bring that legacy, because their energy is still here. Gabriel says, from a DNA standpoint, all you have to do is help bring it up by maybe joining a cause or starting a cause in their name and their legacy. And that's beautiful, because that's perhaps the reason why they were here, is to start something I know for my father, he died of alcoholism, and then after that, I was curious as to what any of that meant. And that put me on my road to working in addiction and behavioral health. And so I've contributed to that industry as a legacy to my father. My brother was in a motorcycle accident, so I don't like motorcycles. And I know that accidents are, accidents, but either way. So, but for my father, the work that I've done in my life has primarily been driven by his memory and legacy. I wanted to leave him a legacy. I didn't want everybody or anybody, or for me particular, just to think of my dad as an alcoholic. I wanted, because my dad was so special to me. He was like my everything. So what I've done without realizing it, but through the years I've realized it, is, at the time I didn't, but now realizing that the work that I do in that realm has been definitely as a legacy for my father. So those are things that you can do, perhaps if you've lost somebody, can be very recently or this year through COVID, or 20 years ago that seems like yesterday. It's never too late, because those memories are always there, and particularly around the holidays, and particularly if you've lost them around the holidays, and the holidays were never the same again after that. And I know for me it was a tough, it's always been, but my father loved holidays so much that he loved Christmas, and he decorated our whole house, and on top of the roof with Santa Claus and reindeers and all these things. He would always decorate for Christmas. So that's where I keep that going, that tradition going, because I knew I always loved that about the holidays, because, and I wanted to share that with my children and my grandchildren. And that's why I love to decorate around the holidays. It just feels good to me. And that brings back that memory of my father. So, and then my brother always teasing me, decorating and whatever. That's a whole other story, but he loved it too. So we would have fun, together during the holidays. And that meant, up until then, like I said, then we lose them because they transition. And then sometimes it's hard for us to go back to this season. And so Gabriel wanted me to mention that, so that way, you know that, yes, that's easy for you to say holidays, but, you may or may not feel like the holidays, because again, they were a blur to me for several years. But as long as you can put one foot in front of the other, know that you're loved and that God loves you, that they're there and the angels are there. You just pray for them for that peace. You pray for them for that compassion and that peace in your heart. And particularly if you've lost a child, Mother Mary lost a child while she was here on earth. And so she is very compassionate, and she is right there when you have that grief from losing a child. You call on Mother Mary if you feel that would be comforting to you. And if you don't feel that would be comforting to you, that's okay too, because then you can pray on, your comfort from the other side, your ancestors. You can pray to God, of course, God, pray to Jesus, pray to, who you believe, who they're all there together anyways. When we get to the other side, that Gabriel says we're going to know that we're all together, so you just pray to who you love and who you feel that can comfort you in heaven and the angels during this time, if there's grief. And there's always, for me still, I feel that tinge of grief, of course, during the holidays, but then I power through it and I stay busy and try to make it good for my kids or the loved ones around me. So let's see here. Jody put Christmas time of year 2 of the Love Waggles Foundation gift giving time. We hope to have some toys and books donated. We honor Mommy Lydia, who gave love 100% of the time, no matter what the condition is. Give love and raise your vibrations. Love Waggles is a nonprofit foundation that Jody has, and they give toys and books to the children. Now, during COVID, I'm hoping people will still do that. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of toy drives or how that's going to work. But, definitely you can look, see how you can donate. I don't know, again, I don't know what's going to happen this year with toys and things like that. We might have to look online to see where we can give to the children who don't have any toys, and that they might want a toy. That would be a lovely thing if we could try to figure out how to give children toys, especially they haven't been at school for all these months or back and forth from school, and they've been at home. I was away on a trip recently, and I was in a store, a little local boutique, and there was a woman who I was buying some candles from, actually. So the one right behind me, one of these candles, I was buying the candle from her. And she looked very stressed because she had her 2 children in the back room. She owned the shop. She had her 2 children in the back room, and she just looked at me and said, "This is so hard. I'm teaching my kids. I'm their teacher, and I'm working, and I just wish they'd go back to school." And she looked so stressed. And I was, I love going into these little shops and just talking to people. So, I felt my compassion for her because I knew that the families and the parents were suffering out there with their kids being home. And that she goes, "I'm not loving. I don't feel like I'm as loving to my kids right now because I'm stressed, because I'm having trouble teaching them, plus scheduling. My husband works full time. I have to keep the shop open. Otherwise we can't, And I just asked her, "Can I pray for you?" And she said, "Yes, please." So I'm praying for her, and I'm praying for the parents of the children who are at home, and the parents don't have that break while they're in school. So they're feeling stressed 24/7. And, so if you meet a family like that, maybe, give them a little something, even encouragement, or, I'm not sure what their Christmas is going to look like. I'm sure they'll have things. It wasn't like they were, but she was really just, it touched my heart because I didn't know her only for like 5 minutes. And I don't really say that often. As a matter of fact, I don't remember the last time I've asked a stranger, "Can I pray for you?" But it was in my heart to ask her that because I could feel I was a single mother at one point. I had my 3 little kids around my mom would call them my little chickies because they were always like hanging onto my legs. And I asked, my daughter was with me, and I said, "Chelsea, can you imagine if I had to teach you while I was working?" She goes, "No, I can't imagine, Mom, you teaching me." I said, "I know. I don't know what I would do if I had to teach them plus work full time." Oh my goodness. So, yeah, I have a lot of love and compassion during these holiday seasons for the children, the kids, and the parents because of the new educational system that we have right now because of safety and COVID. Carly. Hi, Carly. She says, "Praying for the parents, especially parents of special needs children. God has a plan in this." Yes, and thank you, Carly. Carly is a special needs. She's an occupational therapist, and she works with special needs children in the school districts. And so she knows the struggle that the parents are feeling, especially on Zoom, because she's, as a teacher, frustrated with Zoom, and the parents are frustrated, and the kids. So we just keep them in prayer during this time. And if you know a family in your neighborhood, or you have family members, that have these children that they're teaching, maybe call them and just check in. "Hey, how are you doing? Can I send you a care package?" Or, "Is there something the kids would like during, the season that I can drop by the house if they're not seeing, So, just, things like that, because and that was just something that happened a couple of days ago. So, thank you, Carly, for the comment. And we definitely, there are many opportunities where we can help others that we don't even know, just the smallest things. Judith Lewis, "I love and adore angels." Thank you, Judith. Yes, the angels love and adore you. They love and adore you. That's why you love and adore them. You can feel it. It's like you have a little love fest going on with the angels. And so that's wonderful. So share that energy, share that loving energy that you feel from the angels and that you feel for the angels, they say, and give it to each other during these times of this holiday season and the holy day season. Chris Jones, "Yes, we need to pay for it. That is true love for one another." Wait. Okay. I'm going backwards. I'm sorry, Chris. I have to learn how to read these because I'll start reading them backwards like I do my text messages. So yes, just put them up for me, Deb. Thank you. See, Chris Jones, yes, we need to pay it forward. That is true love for one another. Yes, thank you, Chris. Paying it forward, and Chris always pays it forward in my life, and we try to pay it forward in each other's lives. So thank you, Chris, for acknowledging that, because you are just a wonderful inspiration to my family. And then, of course, there's Jeanette saying, hi, Josie. Hi, Jeanette. Happy birthday. I know you had a birthday this last week. So everybody wish the best birthday for Jeanette Morales. And I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 27 or something. So that's great. She's forever young. I think maybe she turned 28 this year. Possibly. Let's see. We have Saf Buxley. Saf. And he's saying that, oh wait, no, that was the post. Okay. I thought Saf was it. And then of course, Louisa. Hi, Louisa. It's so wonderful, that you're watching the show. Please ask me a question for Gabriel, and he loves you so much. And I know we corresponded today via the email. So I appreciate everything you do for me in my life and for the organizations that we both represent together. But if anybody has any questions, I definitely are, I welcome them to help keep the show going. And otherwise, I just will share from Gabriel's perspective. All right. So why don't we go on, he says, to the next holiday. We talked about what we could do for harvest and, Halloween. For those, like I said, growing up, I would have harvest festivals. My friends got to go trick-or-treating. But then later on, I did trick-or-treating for my kids. Anyways, so I had a little perspective on all of it. Don't ask me. I mean, hopefully my kids turned out okay, because I did let them trick or treat. Big dentist bills, yes. But Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, there's still turkeys, I believe. There should still be turkeys that we can start buying now and ordering. Good. And what I love to do for Thanksgiving is go on to the where we get our turkeys, our for Christmas, and look at the honey baked. I love going on to the honey baked website. And so they don't pay me anything. I don't have a commercial for them, but that's not too bad. I mean, literally, if you don't feel like, cooking everything, you can go on the honey baked website, and they have the best, honey baked turkey that tastes like honey baked ham. I'm not a real big ham eater, but the turkey tastes like their ham. If and then they have their little sides and things like that. And for as much as we spend at the grocery store and all the time it takes, if you're not one to cook, you can order a honey baked meal and it comes straight to your house, and it's all packed up in ice and everything, and it tastes delicious. I actually did that last year for my employees. We did a holiday party at my house, and I had a bunch of honey baked food, and they were just like beside themselves. And then I make a couple special dishes myself just to fluff it up and have it look like, so that the house smells like homemade, really. So I make a few things so that the house has the smell of cooking, and I might bake some things, but for the most part, you could get, the lion's piece of, part of your meal, lion's share of it, through honey baked ham if you're not feeling, or you can send, if you're able to do this financially, you can send somebody a honey baked treat. Maybe send somebody a honey baked ham or a honey baked turkey or something like that for the holidays. So I don't know. I always say that I'm not going to cook a whole big old thing, but I always do. So I'm sure I'm going to make, Jim always says, let's do a 15-pound turkey. That never works for me. I have to have 23 pounds just so that everybody can take it home. And I know how to make a big turkey. I don't know how to make the little turkeys. They're too dry. So, but, if you have your favorite recipe for your stuffing, that's always a big thing in our family. We all have like a stuffing cooking thing the night before with my sisters, and it's kind of like a little stuffing contest, but not really. But it's fun because we all have our different twists on how we make our stuffing. And then we take that home for the family the next day, and everybody has their favorite sides and pies and things like that. So I plan on celebrating, of course, Thanksgiving as best as I can. I know that there are rules right now around how many people can be at Thanksgiving, and totally that's fine with me. I mean, if I have 6 people at my house, I am very grateful. Because, how many Thanksgivings have I had 30 people, and I'm the one cooking, cleaning until 2 a.m, cleaning every dish in the house, and for Thanksgiving, so we can make it simple. It could just be 2 of us for Thanksgiving. It could be 6 for Thanksgiving. It can be 3 for Thanksgiving. It could be 1 for Thanksgiving, whatever it is. Just make it how special you want and cook your favorite meals. Share it with your neighbors. If, you have a neighbor who's alone, maybe invite them, or, since COVID, maybe don't invite them over, but take them a plate, make it a special dish for them. Just pay it forward, since we all know that we're home for, Thanksgiving, and that a lot of us aren't feeling comfortable being around a lot of people. I know right now I've got some health issues with my lungs, as I've mentioned before. So I'm still going to be waiting for a procedure to happen. And I can't be around a lot of people right now. So I can only be around immediate, maybe 6 people. And truly, I'm used to having much more for Thanksgiving. But we'll do with what we have. But, just it's the time of gratitude. It is a time of thankfulness. So the food part is one thing. Of course, that's always going to be Josie's favorite part of the conversation, because that's the first thing that I talked about. Now, Gabriel's piping in and saying, gratitude, gratitude. Everything for Thanksgiving is gratitude. So it's the time for a gratitude list, the time to think about what you are grateful for, and truly thank God during this time. I mean, we do thank God in prayer, but during the time of Thanksgiving, thank God for what we do have, our health, that we are here, we're above ground. And I know I feel that way. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for my health. I will be grateful for this Thanksgiving and being here with my family and being alive. And so he says, truly dig into that gratefulness, because God hears all that. And gratitude is a very high vibration. When you're in gratitude and you're in thanks, you can't be in whininess. He says you can't be in the place of a victim or whatever. I'm just, you can't be in that place of feeling, really, when you're in gratitude and grateful, it's hard to be in the place of complaining. And believe me, I'm saying that I complain a lot and, all of that. So, I mean, just in general, I don't complain a lot, but, there's times when you're like, oh my goodness, everything. So he's just reminding us that just being grateful, and Debbie has whole programs on gratitude, because that's her big thing. And on Spirituality Gone Wild, she does a whole class on gratitude, which is great, a whole workshop. And, because it's hard to remember that sometimes. So remembering gratitude is the time for Thanksgiving. What should we pray for in the upcoming year? Oh, very good. So in the upcoming year, meaning 2021 or now for 2021? Either way, Gabriel's saying, what should we pray for in the upcoming year? So that means for 2021. Gabriel's saying the most important thing right now for us to pray for as we're praying is our health, and for ourselves and for each other. So if we can remember to pray, for ourselves. Sometimes we forget to pray for Josie and Josie's health, Louisa and Louisa's health. And then it's almost like he's saying, putting the oxygen mask on for praying for ourselves first, and then we can put the oxygen mask on our children and praying for them. So that's how he put that. He's like, pray for yourself and then pray for others. Because until you are in alignment and have asked God and the angels, and to be in alignment and to heal you, your mind, body, and spirit, then it's hard for us to share that with others. So he's saying the most important thing, because there's a lot of tiredness right now, and we talked about that last time, the pandemic fatigue. We had a question from Rebecca about the pandemic fatigue last time, and that was a very good topic. So, we just want to pray for ourselves, oxygen mask of prayer for ourselves, and then pray for others, and then it'll be shared. So he says that's the number one important thing. Of course, pray for love, pray for health, but part of praying for yourself is praying for your health. Part of praying for your others is their health. Part of praying for yourself is compassion. Whatever you're wanting, but you start with yourself first, because without your strength, then you can't share that with others. So God wants us to have that personal relationship with him and really feel the faith when we pray for ourselves that those prayers will be answered, and then we pray for each other. So I hope that helped, Louisa, with your questions, because that's a perfect theme for 2021 as we're starting a whole new year. We're going to talk a lot about that. Right now, again, we're fourth quarter. We're ending this year, 2020, but we are beginning into this holiday season, so it's a little bit different. But he says you could start right now. We can start right now praying for ourselves and continue that throughout 2021, because there will be more changes because we're elevating. But now he says it won't be as drastic because we had a big drastic change already in 2020. So it's almost like everybody's going, after this, we can handle anything. Well, possibly, but everything is also, you can look at it from the micro and the macro. Say, for me, with my health, if I'm not praying for myself and I'm not taking care of myself, then it doesn't even, the stuff going on in the rest of the world is hard for me to even wrap around my brain if I don't think I'm going to be here because I'm sick. So that's why it's so important for us to really focus on our health and praying for ourselves and then praying for each other. It's very important for that question of prayer. And thank you for that question, Louisa. That was a beautiful question because it is hard sometimes for us. Okay, from Renee, my dear friend. Hi, Josie. I'm very interested in learning about Gabriel's take on the special full moon for Halloween. Is it a time of celebration or a time when extra protection and prayerful focus will be required? How does this preparation impact All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day? I'll drink of my lemonade real quick. Okay, I'm going to keep that right here so I can read that full question. I can see it down here, Deb. I have it popped up. Thank you. So I am very interested in learning about Gabriel's take on the special full moon for Halloween. Now, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but that is your special day. That is Renee's birthday. We love Halloween because it is a very special day. It's a holy holiday for Renee because she was brought into this planet on that day. And the special full moon that is that day, for those of us who are sensitive, and a lot of us are, we're intuitive, full moons make me tired. There's a lot of energy coming through in the full moon, and they kind of, I rest during that time. So, it's, if you feel the need to rest during that time, and always pray for extra protection, he says right now is just the time to, pray for God's protection just in general, that going through the cities, are getting a little violent, and not even the cities, anywhere. People are on, because of the politics, there's a lot of people that are not happy and, that might be angry and things like that. So he says to just always pray for God's protection, the angels' protection. And during the full moon of Halloween, he says it's a perfect harvest moon. When you think about it as a harvest moon and really celebrating the harvest, he says that's what he would focus on, because a big full moon on Halloween is a harvest moon. And so for me growing up, I always focused on the harvest moon. It was like, wow, all that energy and the waters and all the waters of the earth are just like flowing and going, and the seeds are sprouted, and we've got all the all the abundance. So that's kind of how I think about the big harvest moon, and on Halloween just kind of the fun. But there's always going to be the energy of the goblins and all that stuff during Halloween. Of course, it's a time when all the scary things come out too. So it just depends on where you are in your thoughts and your spirits. And he's encouraging us to be in the place of prayer, protection, thinking of that big moon as a big harvest moon of prosperity when you see that big moon, because everything is God, or God is nothing at all. So that big moon is from heaven, and that big moon shines light on the earth and shines light on the water. It shines light on your Lake Michigan so you can see things. You don't see as many stars during the big moon because the moon's so bright, but you can focus on the big moon and say, thank you, moon, for all that you do for our planet. So he says you can be grateful for that big moon, that big, beautiful harvest moon, and celebrate your very special birthday. That's what Gabriel says he wants you to do. Yes, it says here, is it time of celebration or time when to celebration? He says, hello. It's for you especially. It's celebration. It's your day. Big harvest moon. It's time for celebration. And every day we should, if we feel it, just to pray for protection from, just anything that doesn't serve us. If you want to just put it that way, that's what I'm like. I pray, that that we will, that just if people aren't like in vibe with me and they're not like me nice, and I don't, they can just keep, we don't have to like cross each other's path. If so that's, so it doesn't necessarily, it's just like, pray to be around people that are your same beautiful vibration, and that's what you're going to have. There's no other way. Law of attraction. If you're in a beautiful vibration and you're thinking of a big harvest moon and celebrating and having fun, those are going to be the only people in your life that day, particularly on your special day. And then it says, how does this preparation impact All Saints Day and All Souls Day? Well, All Saints Day and All Souls Day are always special. They're the saints and the souls are here always. They're with us, right? So if it's their special day, then in particular, it's not going to impact it in a different way other than the beautiful light that it already is, because All Saints Day is giving tribute to all the saints who you love. So, and then the All Souls Day are the ones, really, the All Souls Day is when you just kind of help them go. If they haven't left, you just say, okay, go. And then if not, they're coming back and forth, whatever. But you just pray for the souls of those who you love. You pray for the souls of those who you love. And if they're still hanging around, you can say, you should really get on up there, and then you can come back and forth. They don't know that. Gabriel says they don't know that if they're hanging on to the earth, that if they allow themselves to go all the way up, then they can come back and forth as they please. That's just kind of something he's sharing with me right now. So, it's, but if they're still here, there's no time on the other side. So there's no right or wrong. It's all fine. We're all one. But some souls, tend to hang around a lot more than they should, whatever. And those souls tend to hang around a lot on Halloween because people are calling on them. But that's a whole different story. He says we don't have to have a big conversation about ghosts if we don't want to, or, other souls. But Souls Day, he says, if it's part of your religion and it's part of, praying for the souls of those who you loved in the previous year, you could just pray for their beautiful souls, and then, their souls will be exactly perfect as where they are, because they're exactly where they should be. So you could pray for ourselves, and then we can pray for those who are no longer with us. That's okay too, because they're fine, but they actually, then you can feel their spirit in your heart when you do that. You can feel them, in your heart. So if I think about my angels on the other side, my dad and my brother, then I feel them in my heart and I feel good about it. Or my grandmother, or Lydia, Jody's mom, who I feel quite a bit. She, those beautiful souls are just there, and they're there to help guide us too. So, if you have a loved one that you feel is there guiding you, they are. So you can just give tribute to them on those days, if that is a day that you, that you definitely want to pray for. Not all people do prayers for the same days, but in general, he's saying it's, we all pretty much have those saints or prophets and teachers and ancestors. And so we can pray that they can guide us, because they are there actually to guide us, because they are perfect exactly where they are. They are perfect where they are. And we're the ones that are still here because we're still fulfilling our purpose. We are the ones that that need them, need to know that they're okay, so that we do know that they're okay. Well, this has been a really good show. And Gabriel is, let's see here, Jim. when you get to Christmas, can you speak about Jesus' birth? Yes, okay. So we'll do a little bit about Christmas since we've got 10 more minutes. We started with Halloween and harvest, and we started with then we moved on to gratitude and Thanksgiving. And so now we'll do a few minutes on Christmas, which is definitely Gabriel's favorite holiday. I mean, and he's been telling me that from the beginning. He's like, that's my claim to fame. Christmas. That's when they call on me. That's when everybody loves me. The humans, they love him anyways, but they really love him around Christmas time, he says, because they put out his little angels and all of that, and he teases sometimes about how, the angels are kind of outdated. He doesn't really, blow a horn all day, but that's okay. It's the thought that counts. But he says, he does love music, and he is all of that, but it's so cute. He says, so if you find some cool angels, you can buy some of those too. That's what he's saying. He's so funny. Anyways, he's just teasing. Any angel, he loves all the angels. Anything that's going to bring your heart joy and love, and But regarding Jesus' birth, yes, he's the angel of the messenger that's closest to the earth, and that's why it's easier for me to channel his messages. He says, I've explained that several times. People ask me, how am I able to get these messages? It's because my spirit is in alignment with his spirit, he says. I have faith, and I've been open to it, and I have asked God to use me as a vessel to share his message, God's message, and in that light, it's been through Gabriel. So I am by no means saying I am Gabriel or any of that. No way, because he's Gabriel, and I'm Josie. But when I'm in alignment and open to his messages, then he can share, through me. And he also communicates through you, he says, because he loves you, and he communicates through you and to you and in your ear, he says. So around, again, everything, there's no time. So when we're celebrating a particular time of year, like the birth of Christ and the story of Jesus and of Mary, for those, who believe either that he was God or that believe he was a prophet, but most people believe that he was here. He was part of that story. He was the angel. Gabriel was the angel who explained to Mary in her dreams, which felt to her like dreams, but really they were more than dreams, what was going to happen, the divinity of her purpose. She knew that before she came. She knew why she was coming. She did, but then as humans we forget. So he reminded her, and then she embraced it, and she embraced that she was going to be the vessel for God as well. And so that's what's so beautiful, that she embraced being the vessel for God, and through that spirit of bringing forth the beautiful Jesus, who changed the earth in so many ways, regardless of what your beliefs are. But Jesus is just a beautiful human being when he was here on this earth. And so Gabriel helped, the angels helped, the angels were all part of it. It was a big deal that happened, because otherwise it wouldn't, all these years later, be such a still impactful blessing in our lives for many of us. Now, if for those who do not, believe in the story of Jesus, or believe in that in that, that's okay too. But his energy is still with you, and the energy of the prophets are with you, because it is the enlightenment, he says. And right now, while you're getting messages through Josie, he says, of compassion and love, those were the same messages that Jesus taught when he was on this earth, is compassion and love. That's why he was born, to remind people of compassion and love, because at that time there was a need for that reminder, and there were many people that resonated with that forever, and they still do. So we are just being reminded by the angels through these messages that I share, to have compassion and love during the holiday season, during every day, during the holy days. And that's the message that I had for you tonight from him. And thank you for asking me that question, Jim, because he wanted to share that the compassion and love is the message from the angels, and through many humans, and through many, because we all come through with our purpose. So know that, Mary knew why she was coming, but then she was reminded. Jesus knew why he was coming, then he was reminded. And this is a beautiful picture behind me that I have here in my home, in my den. And it is one of my favorite pictures of Jesus, because he's just sitting there the night before. He knew what was going to happen to him, and basically praying to God and saying, really, I mean, I love you, Lord. Is this really going to happen? And God said yes. And he says, okay, I'll do it. I'm in. But it was still a hard time, because he knew what he was in for. So we all have that. We all, there are times when we're at a crossroad where we feel that that there's something pulling on us, our purpose, and we're saying, really, do we do this purpose, or do we, and you don't have to, but he encourages us to move forward with why we believe we're here, the goodness of who we are, and the perfection of who we are, and that compassion and that love, and to share that with each other with no judgment at all, with just love and compassion. No expectations, I should say. No expectations, just giving forward and living in this moment that we have, because that's all we have. Whenever we try to make plans or try to put an expectation on each other, usually fails, because really God wants us to live right now. And I know in my life, he is keeping me in the now more than ever. I can't do more than right now, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's where he has me. And I believe that's where he has us all. So if we're right there living in the now, then we should live in this place of compassion and love, and doing the best we can. Doing the best we can. If you've read the book, The Four Agreements, I feel like Gabriel just kind of gave that in a little snapshot, because that's what it is. We do the best we can. We're impeccable with our word, being impeccable with our word, not having any expectations, and loving each other, having compassion for each other, continuing down that path of doing the best we can. That's what my big lesson is in this, because it's hard. I'm going through some medical things, but I know God has me, so I have faith. I've had family with medical, but now they're good. Friends with medical, now they're good. So why would I not be okay? Right? Medically, we're all going to be going through things in different times, because we're human and we're physical. So that's part of the deal. Now, of course, if you're like my grandmother, who died at 96 in her sleep, that's who I've always said I wanted to be, my grandma Carmen. She was pretty much, she had a couple little things in her 90s, but not much. And so I just always pray that I'm going to be like Grandma Carmen. But, truth of the matter is that may not be the case, because it's just not in my DNA, possibly. So I just, want to thank you all for joining the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed the messages, and that you can share the homework for tonight. Gabriel says for this week is compassion and love for each other, and to be gentle with ourselves. Pray for ourselves. Have fun during this kickoff of the holidays the best you can, and know that you are loved, and that you just have to ask the angels, and they'll be right there with you. They're always here with you. And I think we'll probably do our little commercial now, Deb, and then we'll say goodbye. So we'll do our commercial, and then a couple more words from Gabriel.
My name is Christopher Zwick. I've struggled with addiction for all of my adult life. I went from alcohol to opiates to heroin and meth. I spiraled down until I ended up in the hospital, malnourished and suicidal. I was the shell of the man I used to be. Then, I found hope. I found ATS. Advanced Therapeutic Services provided me with a safe environment and the tools necessary to recover. I learned how to address the root issues behind the addiction. I now have over a year clean. I owe my life to ATS.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for sharing your story in our little commercial every week. And I want to remind people that if they are struggling with depression or addiction, they can always call us at ATS. And we do telehealth, so we can do it over Zoom with a therapist or counselors. And, sometimes we just need that little extra help during any time, but particular during the holidays, or if you know somebody that is struggling and that, a counseling session might help them just kind of, get through these times. And we are here to help with grief and loss. We're here to help with addiction, with depression, anxiety, any of those things. And we're here for each other. So thank you very much. And Gabriel just wants to end it with his love for you, and knowing that you are very loved by the angels. And I just want to thank you for joining our show, and we will see you next week with Drama to Dharma.